Welcome to another letter to Louie with Abby Algiers.
Hi.
Welcome back, Abby.
Thank you, Sally.
You have another wonderful letter that your father wrote to his great friend Louie.
Yes.
And we're going to read that and then we can talk about it.
Excellent. Thanks.
Yep.
Put your pants on one leg at a time. Dear Louie, my last letter referred to a meeting which I was to attend. I attended that meeting, and perhaps you'll be interested in the remarks made and to the impressions I gained. The attendees were 10 in number, all retired but one. All were ex-chiefs of service, all professors most recognized as among the best physicians in the country. All were sincere in their thoughts, ideas, and memories of how they departed. The meeting began with the Secretary of the Alumni Association stating the reason for the meeting was to improve the long-standing relationship with the professors. Immediately, one of the professors responded that he felt lost and unknown in the community of teaching professors still employed in the medical school. He felt left out and ignored. That feeling began 2 months after his retirement, when suddenly he was notified of the termination of his school-sponsored and identified email address. Since that loss, he has felt lost and abandoned. Quickly, 2 other retired professors seconded the remark, and the emotions were obvious. Suddenly, the professors were retirees such as those seen in industry, government, and business. As they spoke, it became obvious that, as we know, retirement has many faces, and retirement emotes many emotions. Retirement is about the most dramatic change one might go through. As one put it, retirement is worse than my divorce. It was revealing. And I had thought my retirement was only felt by myself and my wife, Dorothy, and it had been a personal event. Now, Louie, I knew the emotions of falling from the throne of popularity and edification were not personal, but universal to all retirees. But to hear from the true professionals, from the chiefs of service, from the leaders of the medical school, and to learn that they too had not prepared, planned, or truly accepted the ultimate change in their lifestyles, in their plans, and suddenly found themselves out there with the rest of us struggling humanity, that was revealing. It was interesting to listen to all the remarks, and surrounding the stated remarks was the underlying emotion of, how could this have happened to me? And doesn't anyone out there really care? I listened intently to the sounds from the hallways, sounds of the shoes of horses' hooves as George left the White House or as Nixon ducked his head from the whirling propellers of the evicting helicopter, or maybe the smoking cigar of President Bill. The emotions of all of us are the same, and if followed, I would have said the same to my friends. I kept quiet as they emoted, but finally said, welcome to retirement, and welcome to the email world outside of the hallowed halls. After a bit, all recognized the ego-deflating trips which all had made over the past few years, and their desire to again participate in some fashion in the medical school, their Lambeau Field of the past. I do think the 2 hours of speaking just might do some good for the future. The present president of the medical school is an approachable guy who seems to care for his associates, and he might just listen and insist on some changes in preparation, some email identification after the chair position. And so, Louie, I again learned, the chore of the morning is to put on your pants one leg at a time. Let me know if legal publishers are to be counted. Keep the faith, Jim.
So retirement is something that should eventually happen to everybody, whether you are the person that's staying at home and taking care of the children when they leave and go off, then you have more free time. And for your dad, he had his practice, and that's important because those were contacts, those were people he knew.
Right.
Some of them grew up with him, right?
Yes.
And that's a big change for people when they have that type of relationship with their work.
Yes, and he always said he retired too early.
Okay.
He retired at 62, and it was just, he just realized almost the second he did it and thought, wow, what have I done? I'm not ready.
Okay.
So then he went back and worked at the medical college for, I think, another 10 or so years.
Pretty remarkable.
Yeah, definitely. But he always talked about how you have to have something to do,
Right,
you know, not just stop doing anything.
right. Having a plan, I think, is important, and I think that for people that maybe don't have a spouse or a significant other, getting involved in the community and getting out there.
Right.
And your father did that even though your mother was there. But being involved, I think, in giving back is really a neat way to contribute after your retirement or before.
Right, and to feel like you're doing something.
Yeah.
To maybe replace that, what you were at work, with something in a volunteer committee or,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, nice letter. Thank you for
Thanks.
coming in.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And to our viewers, as always, thank you for watching.